Sorry, Vinayak. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yesterday covered about user-defined data, right? Hence we have prepared our own set of data. For banks and the insurance domain, it will apply. But for if you're working on e-commerce domain or health insurance or any like open source applications like public application, hence we can generate any kind of data. We can input any sets of data. Okay, here you can see just a overview. Like on fake is a popular library. In a Node.js, so for example, that generates the fake response, like fake data that can be used for, like for example, unit testing. We can do performance testing, building demos, and yeah, working without a completed backend. But, the thing is, like, we don't need to prepare the every time the data. Yeah, it is compatible with the Perl, Ruby, Java, and Python as well, not only for Node.js. Okay, the thing is, first thing is we have to install the Faker -js and the module. Okay, once we install the module, the next step will be importing the data. For example, we have to import the package first, like Faker from the module and Faker.js, and then we have to call the, excuse me, we have to get the constants. For example, random name, random email. Hence, we have to call the functions faker.person.full name, faker.internet.email. Hence, you can see it will automatically generate the dynamic data. Instead of like every time we input static data, we can call the dynamic data. Okay, for timing, I'll use the same spec file. Okay, this time we don't need to call the, yeah, our data. Okay. Yeah, the thing is like you can say like we have to import the package and yeah, full name is a function. That's why we have to give the parentheses. In the same way, okay, we need first name, last name, okay, and email and password. And there will be directory as well. Yeah, here's the module okay. Okay. Yeah, we have the first name and full name and last name as well. and password. Yeah, any question?
Sorry, Vinayak, I got a question. What
Yeah.
is that? This person and internet, is that the method or what's that actually?
It's a method. The thing is, we are calling the faker is the reference here, and
Oh,
we are
that
calling the
object.
person.
Okay.
Person is a, I mean,
Yeah,
person is
yeah,
an
got
object
it.
here, and last name
Okay.
is a function.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're using the faker. Import the faker function.
Mhm. Module, and then you're
Yeah, you
calling
can
that
see the,
object. Okay.
export declare constant. Then we are importing, exporting and importing the in the spec file.
Okay.
And person is the object here. Yeah, read only access, and you can see, person is not an object, it's a module.
Yeah.
Usually we can create our own object as well, like for example, like a object name and passing the properties. Hence, it's a here it's a module, but not a object. And first name, last name is a function.
Okay.
Yeah.
For example, in this kind of like fake data, if you don't have the things in that particular file, then obviously we have to use the static from our side, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, you have first name, last name, but you have some other field which may not be in that file, then it's obviously a static one, which is coming from any of our constant files, YAML
Yeah,
files.
the thing is like if any data, most of the data will be found here. But if any, yeah, that's why I mentioned initially, like for banking domain, insurance domain, what happened? They have their own set of data. For example, like only specific customer can do the login and sign up like that. Hence, random data, they cannot allow the access. Hence, that's why like that comes as a user-defined data. If there no data is found here, we have to create the our own set of data.
Okay.
Yeah, two things like user-defined data, which is custom defined, and this kind of data is called the dynamic data and predefined. Means like the functions, everything is here. Just we need to call it.
Call that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Mm, yeah. Okay. Now we have created the constants, right? And just we have to call the data. Okay, you can see like previously what happened. We have, in the previous spec file, like in the format, we are calling the, importing the data from the JSON file and calling. Now this time, yeah, let's execute the first scenario using the test dot only. And test dot only means like it will execute the only specific scenario. Yeah, it's better to give the headed mode and project equal to Chromium. Otherwise, it will keep executing all the process as we have configured the projects in the config file. Yeah, you can see it input the random data. Yeah, the dot, the data is not visible here. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, but dynamically it will cost from the figure module and import. I mean, using the person is a module here. Like I mean, usually it's an object, but it's a module here, module dot and the functions. In the same way, we can call like an different sets of data. Not only I mean first name, last name. We can have the numbers begin to float, and we have the constructors, and we have the airlines. For example, flight numbers like that. Yeah. The standard use case will be like, I mean, user data. So yeah, strings and yeah, if you are working on e-commerce website, then every time you can pass the dynamic data. Sorry guys, I got a call. I need to just 2 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, guys. Yeah, I mean the thing is like it's not only for, I mean for example e-commerce domain, for example you can call the pricing. Hence for the, I mean for example Amazon or eBay, like every time we can input the dynamic data. And you can have the detailed documentation here. What are the parameters we have? And yeah, you can see I mean, we can input the data type, number, string. Yeah, yeah. It's a internally it's object. You can see the object data. Okay. For example, if you want to, I mean, the thing is like if you want to color product, any of the dynamic product. Yeah, here comes the database properties, and at the same time, internet's properties. For example, like you can say, I mean, display name, domain name, and email. Yeah, email every time will be generating dynamically. If you want example email, for example, yeah, it will, I mean, written as a example.com. Yeah, you can see everything is the object. Internet is the object. Yeah, sometimes we'll be calling the date functions. For example, I mean, anytime, future date, current or present month, past month, like that. Yeah, I mean, these are the two ways to handle the data. One is the user-defined data. Hence, we have to prepare our own set of data. And the second thing is the dynamic data using the Faker API. Any questions, guys?
Not for me.
Cool. Okay, the next, yeah. Yeah, coming to API testing, I'll cover on Tuesday. Okay, I mean, this is the standard way of, framework design pattern. One is using the facet design pattern. Hence, we are creating the base class and all the function, reusable functionalities here. And common page for the, if you want any common functions and register page here. And in the same way, in the same way, we can create the for the login as well. I mean, for time being, like I'm not covering like full end-to-end flow, but you can do the hands-on practice. I have, for example, register module, login module. Once login, can buy the desktop, and yeah, it will be similar, same pattern only. The locators we have to cart in the same way, and add to the cart, and it will be redirected to the details page and verifying all the data, and add to cart. Yeah, I mean the thing is mandatory fields you have to select. Yeah, you can see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like we can verify the shopping cart added or not, and we have to verify the product details and pricing. Yeah, if everything looks good, like the total also we can verify. For example, get the price here and shipping cost and tax and total we can do. I mean, for here we have to use the percent to fetch the number and check it and agree and check out. I mean, here yeah, we have to log in and then we can buy the product. But for that, we have to create each page separately, like one by one. But instead of that, I'll be covering a few more design patterns. Instead of repeating the same design pattern, I'll cover a few more design patterns. For timing, there is a register page 2 dot pivot. Yes. Okay. I mean, the thing is, previously what happened, we have stored everything in the, we have created the class and we have inherit the base class and creating all the constants and initialize the locators and assigning the values here and creating the all the stateless functions here. Hence, this is the standard way. From Playwright also, they have, recommend the same approach. But on top of that, we have few more approaches. Using the encapsulation, we can create the getters and setters function. Okay. Yeah, using the encapsulation, like we will store only the locators, but not anything, any other logic here. Okay, you can see like in the previous design pattern, which is using the standard way, we have collected the locators and create the constructor and create the constants constructor and the stateless functions. Everything stored in the same class. But now we will segregate into encapsulation into getter functions. For time being, I'll reuse from previous batch. Okay, yeah, you can see like we will see only the getter functions only, but not the logic here, and not the functions in any constructor. I mean, it is more cleaner syntax. Like we store only the locators. In future, if any whole page change, just we have to come to the file and come to the class and update the locators if any revamps happen. And yeah, in the end, we have to export the class to import. Okay, now the locators are ready. Then we have to create one. I mean, okay, for time being, these from previous page. Okay, yeah, register page 2. For time being, we can create the common page as well. But now we are following the design, different design pattern, right? Hence, that's why I have stored everything here. Page 2. Yeah, somehow it's a class, right? Yeah, that's why like we are, exporting here. Hence, we don't need to call as a object. Directly we can call the class. Okay, now we have to call the functions one by one. Dot click. Yeah, the syntax will be bit differ. Okay, we have created the locators, right? We are calling the, all the getter functions here. Reached page is the object reference and calling the all the functions dot click. Yeah, in the same way, dot check. Okay. Yeah, for timing, like I'll reuse. Okay, you can see like it's more cleaner syntax. Like we store only the locators. In future, if anything, the whole page revamp, just we have to update the locators. And in the spec file, we can make it as a backend also. We can create utils file and store all these locators there and call only the function that is, similar to, here, like approach one. For time being, I'm directly calling here. Hence, we have to import the register page and if you are using any common page. And then first common page dot go to, and after that we have given, created object for the register page and calling the page dot locator and passing the locator here. And doing the user events here. Click, check, and fill like that. Okay, now let's execute. Yeah, you can see the, same user flow, but the design pattern change using the encapsulation getter functions. And the function will return the locator. If in future, like whole page revamp, like for example, whole application revamp happen. Hence, just we need to go to the design pattern and just update the locators only, but the logic will remain same. Okay, any questions on the design pattern too? Okay. Mm, yeah, there is one more design pattern, for example. Okay, the design, the 2 and 3 I have, I personally, based on my experience, I have designed. But the design pattern 1 you can get from Playwright official website as well. Just a second, guys, I'll be back. Sorry guys for waiting time. Yeah, I'm applying few jobs. Got interview calls. Yeah, let's resume. Okay, yeah, coming to design pattern 3 is more about, I mean, we don't create a constructor, but we can skip the constructor and using the constants. We have to store all the locations in the constants. For example, like get register link and get gender, get first name, last name, get email, password, and yeah, here you can see. And we have to just create the constants and create a class for the register page. And as usual, you have to create a, I mean, reference for the page and yeah, I mean, constructor we create, but we don't create like before. For example, here you can see in the constructor we have given like all the, read-only properties and all the, assigning the values here. But in the design pattern 3, we just create the constructor and initialize the page only, but just call the create the functions. Yeah, you can see, go to the page and click register link for form submission. And in the form submission, I have created a reusable function and which, take care of all the locators and pass the data. And the data is as usual coming from the, I mean, uh, test data only, like which is the JSON. Hence, yeah, it's a form submission is a parameter as a function, and we have to pass the data from the spec file. Okay. Yeah, it's the path issue. Now we are importing the design pattern 3. Yeah, it's the same issue. Never mind. Here you can see, like as usual, we have to define the test suite, test describe, and test start before each. As usual, we have to call the page. Mm, okay, here you can see, like yeah, using the faker data API, like we can call the data. Line is there, right? That means the function is deprecated. Hence, we have to call the person reference here, faker.person dot first name, last name, internet.email, internet.password. And if any information, a company also will be there. We can call the dynamic company as well. And in the spec level, just we call the register page reference for create a object for the class and register page dot go to and click registering and directly calling the form submission. Hence forms here we are passing the data and the data is given here. You can see the form submission, which is a reusable function. We can call multiple times. And using the design pattern 3, it's a more simplified way. And instead of, the design pattern 1, which is, excuse me, mm, which is, we have to create step-by-step read-only properties and constructor, assigning the values and functions, which will be the multiple layers. And the design pattern 3, just create the constants only and the reusable functions. Yeah, here only just few lines we call the function. Here we can pass the dynamic data. While calling the function form submission, we can pass different sets of data. Yeah, you can see. I mean, there is a registration sign up successful, and yeah, I mean, it's a, I mean, same interface, but the thing is different design pattern. Okay, any questions on the design patterns?
Not from me.
Cool. Yeah, these are the standard. I mean, I would recommend, I mean, if you're looking for more cleaner, I mean, syntax and readable, hence the design pattern 2, which is using the encapsulations, getter functions, which is more cleaner. And one will be bit, I mean, if it here you can see like if only few fields, but if we take like a car sales or insurance domain, we'll have like hundreds of fields. Banking also will have hundreds. Everything will be like given here, and we have to create the properties for everything, which will be double task. Hence, 2 and 3 are more simplified. Mm, okay, these are the 3 design patterns which I mean usually we use in the company. On top of that, API testing will take 1 hour session, which I'll cover on Tuesday. Any questions on today's session?
For me.
Okay, feel free to raise any questions about the design patterns. Hence, we don't have like multiple design patterns like factory design like Selenium. We are in Selenium like factory design pattern, facade design pattern still we can use in Playwright, and singleton design pattern we use there. But here we don't have singleton design pattern because the drivers we use for will be I mean automatically initialized, right? Once we call the project, automatically the drivers will initialize with Playwright. But Selenium, it's a different architecture. Hence, we had to create the browser factory or singleton design pattern like that. If no questions, let's we can wrap it up today, and I'll share the recording accordingly. And next week, I'll start with the API and CI/CD pipeline, GitHub Actions.
Okay. Thank you.
Any
Vinay.
questions? Yeah. Any questions? Feel free to raise. I mean, offline as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, Purna. Yeah. Catch you later. Sripriya, catch you later.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
Bye.
Bye. See you. Bye.